we have a special guest for you guys today, Amy Malcon. And she is an amazing artist.
Oh my
She's
goodness.
And
we love her! I love this. I love the welcome.
Today you get a duo from Lillian and I. So and of course Amy. So it's going to be a fun show. It's, I want to start off with kind of like a motivational Monday. Talk about manifesting and mindfulness and all the great works that come with that. So let's begin. Hi Amy.
Hi Sasha and Lynn. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. It's been a minute.
Yes, it has.
Like 2 years.
Yeah.
I know. This scheduling just wasn't working out.
I know, and we're so happy that you're back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
You.
Yeah, I've missed you guys. I know.
How could you know that?
I'm part of the club again.
By the way, you look fabulous.
Thank
today.
you.
Love the whole ensemble.
Thank you.
It's really good.
I'm in my fedora hat era.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, we're just going to wear hats all the time.
Love it.
Yeah. I was going to wear my cowboy hat because already a season, but then I was like, no, I'll wear the fedora. Yeah, maybe.
The next show.
It's too long. Yeah, next show.
Next
yes.
show. So, as mentioned, our show is going to be on manifesting, or talking about manifesting and mindfulness. And I think nowadays we need more of the mindfulness as much as we can get, right? So, my question to you is, let's start with manifesting. What is manifesting in your words?
Yeah, I believe manifesting is being intentional about making, whether it's like your wishes or your dreams come true. So, but you're being intentional about it. So there's different ways of manifesting. I don't think there's a right or wrong way of manifesting as long as you're being intentional about it.
Right. So, and I'll give you a story because I love to start off with a story.
Yes.
So this is my own personal journey. I remember this was years and years ago. I was all my friends were pregnant. And I so wanted a baby, and I was one of the first ones that was like, okay, I'm ready for a child, and I just couldn't get pregnant for medical reasons and things like that. And I remember I would always just stand in church, and my friends would have their like big bellies, and they're like rubbing each other, and it was the cutest moment. But in my heart, I was like happy for them, but I was sad for myself because I'm like, I'm supposed to be part of the belly club,
Right?
Why am I not here? And then for some odd reason, I was just like, I would just imagine myself at church with the baby in my hand. And I just kept doing that. I just kept imagining that. And it actually came reality because I actually was at church with the baby in my hand, with my own baby. And I felt like that was the first journey for me, seeing that this really works. And I didn't even know what I was doing at that time. And I was just like, okay, well, this worked. And throughout the years, I started doing a lot of that because I saw that it worked for me. I'm sure it's prayers and everything else. But of course, like just putting yourself in that position, seeing that you are actually living that life. You are believing that you are already there even before you're there. I believe that to me is manifestation.
Yeah, I mean, I think like all people are manifestors. They may not realize that they're manifesting, but they're manifesting. It just all looks differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have any stories to share with us?
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of, I think that, if you look back and you think about all the things that you, were wanting, like that you've achieved now, you'll probably be like, oh wow, like I literally manifested this, right? So I think first it's like, if you're not believing that you're a manifester, just sit down and like look at things that you've achieved right now and think about the time when you were at once upon a time wishing that. And then you'll realize, oh wow, like I really did manifest this, right? Some of it may be, like people say luck. I don't believe in luck, but it could be luck, or it could be, there's just a lot of reasons why. So, I think that's the first step.
Yeah.
Is realizing you are a manifestor, that you can manifest. It's not privy to certain people.
Very true. Very true. And like, I think once you start researching on manifesting or anything like that, I feel like it's just like all these, like on social media especially, like I keep getting these videos on manifestation, and I'm just like, I sit there and I'm like, oh wow, like it's so many people are actually doing this in their real life and making their not wishes, but whatever that they have dreams of into reality.
Because like we talk about like vision board is like a really big thing, and so people are always like, why why do vision boards? Like, what's going on with vision boards? And I think it's because it's a way of manifesting. It's visual. You get to see it real time every day. You see pictures of it real time.
Yeah, very true. I know it's funny because you mentioned vision board. I don't have a vision board per se, but I do have on my phone. I have all these things that I want to be in reality, right? So like on my phone, I have I want a dog named Snow, for example, things like that, and like a child one day. And these visions have been there for me for years and years, and I've always just jot them down on my phone, the wishes for myself. And now I can actually sit there and a lot of them check them out. I'm like, okay, I did this, I got this. Like, it's just believing in something so deeply that you want, and you manifest it, and it can be a reality. And vision board is just one of the greatest ways to do it.
The other thing I want to add is, like, sometimes we get these like thoughts in our heads or dreams in our heads, and we're like, where did that come from? But I think like that's like messaging from God or the universe, like whatever you believe in, like a higher power, and it's put there for a reason. So don't like dismiss those.
Yes.
Like, it may seem like too big, or it may seem out of reach, or you don't think you're qualified to do something like that, but it was put in you saw it.
Yeah.
So just know that it's going to happen. And I think also it gets daunting sometimes when we like want something so bad and it seems out of reach, and it's like, just take it a step at a time. It's the little steps and the little things that we do that will get us to the big. It's not like this big leap. Yeah. If you talk to a lot of successful people or entrepreneurs or, successful business owners, they took little steps, and some of them never envisioned it being where they are now or what they're doing. That's where they were just going with the flow, and that's where they landed.
Yeah. Wow.
Just one step at a time.
That's deep. Yeah, that's true.
Is it deep?
Yes.
Okay, so
It's 11.
I actually, it's 11:11. Perfect. Yeah. So I think that's a sign for everyone, right? So if there was something this morning that came to you, it's a sign to go after it.
Yes.
So I actually am a big advocate for ChatGPT.
Okay.
And how you can use ChatGPT in your favor to manifest.
Okay.
So how you can use ChatGPT. Me and ChatGPT have a great relationship.
Okay.
We talk all the time. We're best friends. One of the things that I work on with that ChatGPT works on with me is my limiting beliefs. Because that helps with manifesting, right? So we all have limiting beliefs. We have all these narratives that have compounded over time through our childhood, and then just grade school and people and things that we think that we cannot do, but we really can. Right. But because we've taken on other people's their own limiting beliefs and we've taken it on as our own, then we think that we can't do something. So I'll ask ChatGPT and say, hey, I think X, Y, and Z. Can you come up with 3 to 5 sentences that counter that's positive?
Wow.
So we could do it real time right now and ask ChatGPT. Yeah, let's do it.
Great.
Okay.
So I never thought that we can actually do, I would use ChatGPT for other things, never used it for...
Yeah. So look, so it has this, I'm going to ask the question right now. Hold on. Hey, I currently think that I don't have the skill sets to take myself to the next level as an artist and entrepreneur. Can you give me 3 to 5 sentences that counter that's positive and uplifting and motivating? Wait, I don't think you got it.
You have the creative power to elevate your artistry and entrepreneurial journey to new heights. Every step you take is building.
Can you hear that on there?
Trust in your ability to innovate and adapt. Your talent and passion are the driving forces that will attract new opportunities.
So,
Wow.
so it just told me, so basically, so I asked ChatGPT that I don't have the skill sets to take myself to the next level as an artist and entrepreneur. Can you give me 3 to 5 sentences that counter that's positive and uplifting and motivating? And ChatGPT told me, you have the creative power to elevate your artistry and entrepreneurial journey to new heights. Every step you take is building momentum, and with your unique vision, you're paving the way for incredible growth. Trust in your ability to innovate and adapt. Your talent and passions are the driving forces that will attract new opportunities. The next level is within your reach, and you will, with each action you take, you're not creating art, you're creating your future. Believe in yourself, and you'll see how far determination can take you. Now I can take this to the next level.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you create a roadmap for me for the next 3 to 6 months? This is great. Can you create a roadmap and an action plan for the next 3 months?
I've been using ChatGPT in the wrong way.
So now, because they tell you it takes 90 days to build a habit.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is about to put a plan together for me. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so the first month it says foundation and clarity, solidify your vision, enhance your brand, get clear on your business goals. And then it breaks all of that down for me, telling me what I need to be doing. I could take this and say, can you create a monthly plan? Oh, here's the action plan for month 1.
Wow.
Finalize your brand identity, update your online profiles, dedicate 5 hours per week to research and networking, create a morning routine. But I could take that and then say, can you break this down into for each week?
It's just like having a life coach at hand.
It literally is. You can use ChatGPT for whatever. Month 2, execution and engagement. It breaks all of that down. Month 3, growth and reflection, breaks all of that ground. So it's like and then it has weekly actionable steps.
Wow.
So, like, if you need help manifesting,
Yeah.
ChatGPT is there in any way, shape, or form to help you manifest.
Wow. My mind is blown. Actually, I'm speechless.
Y'all thought we were just going to talk generic
I really
manifesting?
did. No, I'm like, okay, well, you're blowing my mind away. My hands are
It's
sweating.
all in advance now.
Like, there's no excuse now. We have so many tools like at our fingertips.
Yeah.
You know, there really is no excuse, and there's just so much information online on, you know, social media and things like that. You can choose and see what works for you, but there's tools out there for you to help manifest, and there's educational stuff out there.
Wow.
Whatever it is that you're looking for with YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, it's all out there.
Yeah.
You just have to like take action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part. It's taking.
Yeah, taking execution.
Yes. So, how does visualization play a role in the manifesting process?
So, great question. So I asked ChatGPT. Visualization exercises. And this is what ChatGPT says. Visualization is a key tool in manifestation. You can use ChatGPT to guide you through a visualization exercise by describing the details of your desired outcome. So, for example, describe in every detail what my dream job looks like so I can vividly imagine it every day.
Wow.
So literally, I would ask ChatGPT, can you create, give me like 5 to 10 minutes of dream life? And while it's saying it, I'm recording the audio. So then every morning I can play the audio. And so every morning I'm like in the shower. Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be its own thing, because a lot of people will say, hey, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. I'm busy. I'm blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. But you could literally be doing it while you're doing your morning routine. So instead of not listening to music, or if you're watching TV or watching the news, put on the audio and listen to your dream life coming to life. Mm-hmm. Like, there's another artist that I follow, Lily Singh. Do y'all know Lily Singh?
Love her.
And she talks about how she does these visualization manifestation tools. So like, she had put a vision board together and put it in her shower. So every morning while she's in the shower, she's looking at her vision board and she's seeing the visuals. And then before she know it, she manifested, like, things like getting on Oprah or being on a magazine, getting her own talk show. And these are things that she was wanting once upon a time. And she manifested that. But it was through her visualizing it every morning.
Wow.
So there's things that you can do. It doesn't have to be like its own task. Should we let it digest for a second?
Yeah, because I know, like, she had I've seen her late night show. It used to come late night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just
late night with Lily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just saying that she actually visualized those things that were in her box of things that she wanted, right? So.
Yeah. But I think it's good that, to visualize the thing, but also to keep in mind to kind of, you visualize it, you have all of this thing, right? And like you were saying, have the action steps. But then there are a lot of people who have everything, but they don't take a step forward. So the thing is, you're not taking the action. You have all of this. You have a beautiful board. You're manifesting it. You're doing all of that. But if you're not doing it,
Yeah.
like actually doing it, you're not going to get to that.
Yeah.
So that is important
You
because
have to find those steps to
yes,
get
because a lot of people, are excited, right? A lot of people say, like, oh, okay, I want to start this business and I'm going to start manifesting it. I'm going to build a board or whatever, right? But then it's like they always say, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I have this board. I get up in the morning. I listen to this powerful speaker or whatever. But then what are you doing about it, right? And I find a lot of people, they get motivated, but they don't know how to go forward. That is the biggest hurdle for anyone to go across. Yeah.
No, I think that, action steps are important. You can't just like sit on the, couch
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
hope that, so this is all gonna, that's like, this is just like half the battle, creating the vision board and like
Yes.
all that stuff. And then, the other half is actually doing
Yes.
the work. And so you can use ChatGPT again,
Yeah.
right? I showed. And so I had asked ChatGPT about accountability.
Yes, exactly.
Like holding yourself accountable, right?
Yeah.
So it says ChatGPT can help you stay accountable by checking in with your goals, offering encouragement and motivation. You can use it as a reminder to stay focused on your intentions and take inspired actions. So you can ask ChatGPT, remind me every week to check my progress on my manifestation goals and adjust where necessary. You can ask, so then ChatGPT will check in and say, hey, where are you with your goals?
Yeah.
Sometimes like everyone's so busy with like, we may not have like a real life person to hold us accountable because they're like, well, I'm trying to hold myself accountable. I don't know how I'm going to hold you accountable. So ChatGPT is right there at your service. You can be really selfish with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not expecting anything back from you. You know what I'm saying? So like, there is no ulterior motive in that way. And you could literally ask ChatGPT exactly that same prompt, to hold you accountable on those goals.
Yeah.
But like which takes me to the next point is having goals.
Correct.
You have your big goal. So whatever that big goal is, which is on your vision board, but then you have little goals that help you achieve those big goals.
Yeah.
So having like weekly goals, and then those are self-administered deadlines. So only you know that deadline, and you have to hold yourself accountable for those deadlines. You can't just be like, oh, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. Before you know it, a whole year's gone by, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, why didn't I manifest this? Because you weren't holding yourself accountable.
Right.
So you do have to have personal responsibility.
Correct.
In your manifestation.
Yeah, it's true, and I mean this is all great, and I'm all for it. But I think also, I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but I feel like sometimes you need that human touch. You need that you need a human, like a friend, or could be your spouse, could be your grown-up child. You need someone like a human being to sort of, I don't know, the feeling is different, right? It is great that we are in this new era, but even then, maybe for
personal touch
me
is
personally, the personal touch is kind of missing. Like, if I feel that one of these girls are going through a hard time, that I feel it, that the feeling is there. So I will call and check in and say, hey, but ChatGPT doesn't know what you're feeling unless you put your feelings in there. So for my thing is like, I love this, but at the same time, it's a balance of both. That's what
I agree. I mean, it's another tool, right?
Yes,
It's not
yes.
the only way.
Yes.
It's not the only tool, but like, it's also for people. I think ChatGPT, like, I'm a people person. I'm just like you in that way. Like, I have some friends that are my personal accountability and that I can kind of like go back and forth with. But there are some people that may not be comfortable in sharing their feelings. Yes. They may feel too vulnerable or too scared or whatever the narrative is. And so there is a tool now available that they can use if they don't feel comfortable sharing their goals or, sharing their feelings.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I saw some statistics where it was showing like how much time we spend with our family, our friends, with at our school, at church, at organizations, and then online. And from 1990 to now 2024, online is taking up 90% of our interactions versus, and then family, friends, and church and organizations and like our religious places, institutions are all down on the lower bottom to like less than 10%. So it's crazy that we're not getting this human to human interaction and we're mostly interacting online, and then we're seeing like that being, you know, our main form of interaction. So with that, the repercussions of that is we don't have the communication skill sets. We're not like, you know, we don't, there's a lot of things that come from that, unfortunately. So I do agree that human interaction should be your first. But if that's not something that's available to you, that you can't use you can use ChatGPT, so there's really no excuse to say, oh, I don't have friends to hold me accountable, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm debunking all your excuses. Right? And it's just another tool. It's not the only tool to use, but it is one tool that you can use towards
because since COVID so much has changed, right? We have been so out of touch with really being in touch with people, right? Like we're doing everything so virtual, even work, at work in the offices. There's like so many empty office spaces now because everyone's working hybrid. So many times, like I know my son now, he's working like more in the office. He's in Canada and he works, but it was hybrid for so long. And I remember during COVID, I asked him, I said, how do you feel? Like, you don't have to dress up, you don't have to walk, you know, drive in the snow. And he's like, Mom, you know what? I really miss going to the office because we have our breaks. We chat with our coworkers. We don't have that, you know, being with that person, you know, that relationship, we're missing that. And he's 30 now. So he's like, I like the fact that I don't have to drive, but I really miss that interaction with people in person because people cannot feel, like really see how you're feeling when you talk. Like when they look at you, your expressions, you know, sometimes when you're just, you're texting and all, your emotions don't come out the way when you actually see the person. So he really, really missed that. And of course he's happy now. He's there and he's with his coworkers and they, you know, they go for their water breaks or whatever, coffee breaks, but they're able to have that interaction. So that I think is so important. Like sometimes we just, you know, we forget, right? And it's like now with all of this new technology and everything, it's like we really have to try and find that balance many times because we get so excited for everything that's new that sometimes we forget the old.
No, I think everything has a cycle. Yeah. And I think it's trending that people eventually, it's going to get back to human interaction and not relying on social media or using social media as much. Everything is cyclical, being scared. But I think people are realizing that could go away. And then especially with the new, you know, government and stuff and how they're censoring all of that, people are realizing that, hey, I can't communicate my thoughts and ideas if it goes against whoever's in office. That's irrelevant, you know. So like not having free form of communication and thoughts and expression. So people are like, well, we got to figure out. So like now they're starting to see more surge now on YouTube because it's not censored. Right. So people are now starting to lean back on YouTube because Instagram is now heavy on ads and it's the algorithms where before it was just free and you could just get whatever on there. But now it's not free. It's curated. So I think a lot of people are seeing that the trends, it's moving differently. But everything has its cycle. And eventually, I think, you know, social media won't be as big. But I think because of the rise of social media, that's when all the human interactions went down. So like there's kids now that don't even know how to have conversations, can't look at you in the eye. They don't know how to speak, you know. So I mean, I take my son everywhere with me to networking events. to, I'm going to be teaching at Rice tonight, and he's going to come with me, and be a part of the class. So, it's,
I love that.
he's getting that human interaction, but I'm also not shying away technology from him too, because it is a new age. So he does know how to use ChatGPT. We create worksheets on ChatGPT.
Wow.
So we'll be like, create, a math worksheet for a first grader.
Oh, wow.
And he'll create these worksheets and we'll print them out, and then he actually does. So he'll create his own homework for himself.
I just learned something new today. I'm going to do that tonight for Hannah.
Yeah.
Here's some worksheets.
Yeah. Well, she can create it herself so she can have fun. Yeah. Tell her to do it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our conversation with Amy Molcon here on Chai Time 103.5 Hum FM. Welcome back to Chai Time here on 103.5 Hum FM. For those of you that have just tuned in, we are in conversation with Amy Molcon on manifesting and mindfulness. So welcome back, everybody. This has been a very interesting conversation.
Yay.
And I have learned so much about ChatGPT.
We know what you say.
How about you?
ChatGPT that I've never known before, and I am so excited to start using it in a way to making spreadsheets for my kids for home.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's literally there to make your life easy.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
with manifesting and mindfulness, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Make it that difficult. You could use ChatGPT. You could literally ask ChatGPT how can I manifest?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So right now, so have you heard of NLP?
No.
Have you heard of NLP? So it's called NLP. Have you? No. NLP is called neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
So you're reprogramming or rewiring your brain. We all have conversations in our brains and narratives in our brains, and some narratives serve us and some narratives do not serve us. Yes. And so anytime I get a limiting belief, so what I have is I have a journal. Okay, and then I have divided it into sections. So the first section is about me. The next section, 3 to 4 pages, I've left blank, and it's about love, then about relationships, then about career, about spirituality, just different categories. Okay. And so throughout the day, if a thought comes into my head, and it's, I think, so one of my own personal ones is that my personality is too strong, and that a lot of people don't like my personality because it's a very strong personality. Okay. That's it. But I see your face. You're like, wait, what?
Your personality.
But I do get people that are off put, and I do know this about myself, that it's a strong personality and not everyone's going to like it, and it's okay. I always describe myself as Brussels sprouts. Either you like it or you hate it. I'm okay with either or. But sometimes that can be a limiting belief because I'm already created this narrative in a negative way, and then I think, okay, this person doesn't like me because of my personality, or I don't have a boyfriend because of my personality. I'm not this demure, soft, So then I asked ChatGPT to come up with 3 to 5 opposite sentences. So then what I do in my journal is I write my limiting belief in there, and then I copy those 3 to 5 sentences that ChatGPT gave me. And so then what I do in the morning is I go through my limiting beliefs, I read my limiting beliefs, and then I read the 3 to 5 sentences that counter that, to the point where then I'd stop reading my limiting belief after a month or two and just read those 3 to 5. So basically I'm reprogramming my mind. So then I really believe those 3 to 5 positive, sentences. So I can pull it up. I'll pull it up and we'll get to it on the next. We can talk about something else, but let me pull it up and let me find it.
Yeah.
And I'll show you.
It's pretty cool. I think that I have on my phone, on my screen actually, that I say this every single day is I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am divine. The universe and me are aligned. Everything comes to me in the perfect time. So
I love that.
Just saying certain, whether it be affirmations or whatever, is just making, kind of reprogramming your mind, right? Believing these things, and eventually it becomes a part of your reality, I guess. So what does what role does no, hold on, I'm sorry. You call-
Well, yeah, sorry. So I'm looking for what I told you guys about, but I actually had put in here a while back, what benefits are there creating a vision board? We were talking about vision boards earlier.
Yes.
So it says, 1, it clarifies goals and desires. It boosts motivation and inspiration, engages your subconscious mind, encourages creativity and introspection, supports visualization practices, increases accountability, promotes positivity and gratitude, enhances emotional connection, builds momentum, and it's fun and it's therapeutic. So those are all the reasons why. A lot of people who negate doing like the vision board, they'll be like, they're just looking from the outside in, right? And say, oh, I don't get it. They're just like gluing pictures on the board. But you won't really understand the impact until you actually go and do it and experience it for yourself. It's not going to make sense. If you've never experienced it, you've never created your own vision board.
Yeah.
It's not going to really make sense from the outside looking in until you've actually done it yourself.
So I think it's also being intention of what you're putting on the board as well, right?
For
Like,
sure,
not
for
just
sure.
Sticking any pictures on there, like just
Right, you're being intentional about yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I think also just taking that a step further, sometimes you may not find your pictures. So I go online, or you use ChatGPT to say, here's the picture that I want.
okay, help me find.
Yeah, it's like create an image
Oh,
of a brown girl,
okay.
walking into a mansion or something. I'm just throwing it out there.
Right.
Because a lot of mainstream media are not catered towards brown and black people.
Right.
So you may not find a visual that supports your own vision, your actual vision, right? Like me putting a picture on my vision board of a Caucasian person walking doesn't really help me manifest because I don't see myself in that picture because that's a white person. But if I put a brown person, then I can see myself achieving that, right? So you may not always find your visuals on a magazine, but you can create your own. You may not be able to draw it, but you can create your own visual by asking ChatGPT to create an image.
I can draw it though.
But I'm expensive. I'm also manifesting. I'm increasing my pricing.
So, what practices do you use to maintain a positive emotional state while manifesting?
I think there's like this misconception that, like, I guess for me personally, people think I'm positive all the time. I'm not positive all the time. Like, oh my goodness. I bet people think you're positive too all the time. Are you positive all the time?
She is.
No?
Just kidding.
You have your moments too, right, Lynn? Yeah, like, I think the way to stay positive most of the time is acknowledging all the other emotions.
Yeah.
Like, I don't shy or hide away or think it's bad to feel bad.
Right.
So, like, if I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling discouraged, I'm feeling not motivated, I feel that I'm not good enough or whatever it is, I feel those. And then I ask myself, like, why am I feeling these emotions? Where is it coming from? And are these emotions real? Because then I'll play devil's advocate with myself and be like, if a girlfriend was talking to you like this, how would you talk to her about it? And then that's how I'll speak to myself.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you're feeling down and low is because you're probably on social media too much and now you're comparing yourself. And you wouldn't feel this way if you were not scrolling on social media because that wouldn't even be in your periphery.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to stop getting on social media and, scrolling. I'm just using that as an example.
Dialogues with yourself.
I'm constantly talking to myself. People think I'm crazy. Because you'll just see, because my face can't hide my emotions. So I'm like, making all these, And so they're like, what is going on in her head right now? Because she has a variety of facial expressions right now. But I'll have these conversations with myself. But the main thing is, and this is what I tell a lot of my friends when they talk to me, is that I feel so bad right now because I'm not motivated and I'm not working out and I'm not doing this and I don't feel like doing any of my work and I'm getting behind. And I'm like, whoa, like slow your roll. Like, let's take a deep breath. And we walk it through and be like, don't feel bad for feeling bad. There's a reason why you're feeling bad, and let's get to the root of that first, and then we can slowly transition. And the examples that I use for that is and there's real life examples. So one is if you're driving in a car and your car is like swerving, that what do they tell you to do? Well, it's swerving. How you can't pull over? Like if it's skidding and swerving, what do you do?
Don't hit the brakes for sure.
Yeah, well, it says don't jerk it back
Yes.
because it's gonna make it go even worse, and then you'll flip. So it tells you to go with the motion of the car, and then eventually when it's slowing down, you'll be able to stir it back. So that's same with our emotions. If you're swerving out of control, don't try to jerk it back to be like, you need to be positive. You're doing more damage, right? The other part is like if you're swimming and you get caught in an undercurrent, what do they tell you to do?
Swim with the current.
Swim with the current, and then you'll eventually make yourself up to the water. But if you're fighting the current and you're trying to go up, that's how most people drown, because you're fighting the current and it's too strong, and then you don't have any energy to get back up. So there's so many examples in real life that show us don't fight that momentum, go with it, and then eventually you'll find your way back. So the amount of time we spend fighting ourselves that we have to be positive, it's going longer and longer. It's making it worse, and then we're not getting to the root of the problem, and then we keep experiencing it over and over and over again.
So true. So how do you handle doubt or fear during the manifesting process?
So when I have doubt or doubt or fears or whatever, the negative self-talks when manifesting. So I'm a labyrinth builder. I build labyrinths. I don't know if you guys are familiar with labyrinths. Yeah. So it's a meditation tool. So it looks like a maze, but it's not a maze because it has one clear path to the center, and then that same path leads you back out to the exit. So there's different archetypes of labyrinths. There's over 200 archetypes. There's several labyrinths where when you're walking it, you get really close to the center, so you think you're about to enter the center, but then the path leads all the way back out, and then you get into the center. So it's a metaphor for life. There are times like we're working towards our goal and we think we're so close, and then there's a setback that happens, and it takes us all the way back to the beginning, and then you get deterred. But the thing is, you got to remind yourself, just stay focused. Like, this is part of the journey. There's a reason why this setback is happening. I don't understand it at the moment, and it seems really annoying and frustrating and all the things, but the lesson will reveal itself in due time. Just stay the course. Just stay the course. And that's why I keep reminding myself, because when I look at my own journey, there were so many setbacks, and there were so many times where I felt deterred, or it felt like the goal that I was going for was way far out of reach, but then I got to the goal. You know what I'm saying? So, and some of those things that happened along the way made me stronger. You got goosebumps?
Yeah.
Oh, no, or there's. I thought you got goosebumps. It's like, oh, okay, great. Yeah. Just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes. But yeah, so I mean, like, it's part of the journey to say, like, nobody's journey is perfect. Everyone has setbacks, and it's part of the journey. So when people are like, oh, I wish all of this didn't happen, it's like saying, I wish I didn't have rain, but I want these beautiful flowers to grow in my garden. Like, everything is interconnected. So once you accept that setbacks and failure and pushbacks and all these things are part of the journey, then the more you're like, okay, yeah, this was part of it. Great. Like, I'm building character. I'm getting stronger from it. You celebrate it rather than getting annoyed or frustrated about the setback.
Yeah.
Your perspective has changed.
I love that. And my phone keeps turning off.
It's okay. I think a big thing is perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all about perspective of how you want to see things.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that, oh, wow.
Ooh.
Wow, the lights just turned on in here. It's very bright. So, like, for instance, in perspective, and it's, you know, so I was talking to two of my single mom friends, and they were like comparing their journey with mine. And they were just saying, like, oh, but you actually have it easy because, you know, the dad is involved and blah, 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 blah. And so you get your time off. But I'm like, yeah, there's other challenges that I have. It wasn't always like this. But I said, but on my perspective, looking at your journey right now, you have a lot of money and you can hire an au pair and a nanny. So anytime you need a nanny, you have access to that. and they were looking at all the negative things that were happening in their single mom journey. And I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. Right. Yeah. So, it all comes down to perspective. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to see the good perspective. Yeah. So then it's good to have a friend to bounce that off of. Like you're talking about having a real life interaction in person. But then it's like getting to the space where you are your own devil's advocate and be like, I have a choice. I can look at it this way that does not serve me, or I can look at it this way that does serve me. And it's a habit that you build over time. It doesn't come like naturally. The reason I'm able to do that now is because I've built this habit over time, where I choose to see a different perspective. Sure. You know?
Yeah, and it's so important to talk about that, talking about habits, right? We all think that we can just change like miraculously, right? And we don't and even for instance, like changing your diet, trying to be healthy. We say, oh, we want to eat this for 1 week. And then we ask ourselves, why did we fall back on eating so much carbs instead of focusing on eating healthy food? And it's like, because you haven't formed that habit yet. And you are working towards forming that habit. So that is the first step, right? And a lot of people are like under that misconception that, oh, this week I'm so like gung-ho to go and do this and buy all the high protein stuff, the healthy stuff. And then after a week, they fall back onto whatever they were eating, all the junk and doing just doing whatever they were doing. And then it's like, oh, because I don't know what happened, right? And I was doing so well, but it's the habit forming. You have to form those habits, which then eventually become your behavior. And it automatically, then you will, it just comes automatically. And like I was telling a friend, right? Like she wanted to, she wants to lead a healthier lifestyle. And she's like, I know I have to have accountability. I got to, kind of like just keep my mind motivated and things like that. And I said to her, yeah, that's great. But you have to make it into a habit. And she looked at me and she says, what do you mean? I said, well, look at it this way. When you get up in the morning, don't you brush your teeth? Automatically you go and what is the first thing you do? You pick up your toothbrush, you brush your teeth, right? So that is a habit that you formed, and that's become part of your behavior. So that is what you have to work on, is like forming the habit. And she's like, I said, yeah, when is the last time you woke up and you didn't brush your teeth and you just left the house? She's like, never. I'm like, yeah. So that is what it is. So like then kind of like when we talk and we kind of give examples and like you're sharing your story, and it makes so much sense in that perspective, right? So I was like, so then she understood it, because she was like, what do you mean by habit? Like, how can my eating become my habit, right? How can my healthy eating? So giving her an example and telling her, then she kind of could kind of relate to it and connected. Yeah,
I think a lot of people think it's like this immediate change. Yes. And it's not. And then also I think we get overwhelmed when we think we have to do all of these steps. And it's like, just pick one thing at a time, So, and for instance, if you're like wanting to change your eating or your health lifestyle, and you're like, okay, well, I have to exercise, I got to eat healthy, I got to do this, I got to do this, it becomes overwhelming, right? So it's like, pick one thing you want to focus on, and then that's what we work on building the habit for. So it's like, okay, eating healthy, maybe it's like just incorporating eating veggies at every meal. And that's just one simple thing that you can do, and it doesn't feel overwhelming. But if you try to tack on everything, like we have a mutual friend, and he's looking to lose weight, and I was talking to him at your Christmas party, and he was like, I have to do, he's like, I have to walk more, and I'm going to exercise, I'm going to lose, and I got to eat this, and I'm like, dude, that's a lot. You're not going to, you already set yourself up for failure, because the moment one thing falls off, then you're going to be like, oh, I failed, and I can't do it anymore. So I told him, I said, if you're open to feedback, always ask. And he was like, yes. And I said, I would just choose one thing on the list. Yeah. So don't try to change everything all at once. Like, maybe it's just incorporating walking 10,000 steps a day, and that's it. Right? And then once you've got that down and it becomes natural for you to walk the 10,000 steps, then you're like, okay, let me now incorporate higher protein in my meals. In addition, and like compound it. Yeah. So then it becomes easier. And then the other thing is giving yourself grace. Like We're all going to make mistakes. We're going to fall off, and it's okay. And you just brush yourself off and you start back up again. But I think like a lot of people put all this pressure on and saying, I have to be perfect. And the minute that fails, and I think that's why a lot of people fall off after January 1st, because they have all these high expectations and they do this, January 1st, I'm going to do this, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do all these things. And then, January 30th comes around and they're like, I already messed up. I didn't go work out. So now I give up. And it's like, no, it's okay. You didn't work out today.
Yeah.
Go start again tomorrow. Like you can always start back again the next day.
They also have this thing where I'm going to start from Monday. Monday comes and goes. Okay, I'm going to start from next Monday. But why does it have to be
Monday?
The start of the week? Why
Yeah.
can't it just be, I'm going to start from
Tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we just need to be more mindful of what.
Because we have all these set fake imaginary rules.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
they're imaginary. These rules are imaginary. They're not real rules. And so we're talking about manifestation, and people are like, we have to do that in January. And now it's like, no, you can start it now. You can start it in March. You can start it in April. You can start it in June. You can start it in December. Like there are no rules when you do this. It's just the main point I think of the whole conversation is just like get started.
Correct.
Just go. Just take the first step. And there's no rules when and how and all those things. Like.
I mean, I'll give you an example. I was talking to Lin, and she gave us these beautiful cards for Christmas, and they're for oh my god,
Affirmations.
I didn't get a card. No, I'm just kidding.
They're so nice, and so like I was just telling her, I was like, like in the mornings I don't have time, and so just like running around with the kids and this and that, and she's like, then do it in the evening. You don't have to do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Do it in the evening. Do it when you have.
You're like,
time.
yeah.
That's true. I'm like, okay. So now I do it at night. But the fact is that, she made it so easy and clear. It's like, you don't have to wait to do it in the morning. Just do it when you have time.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Right? But we are the ones that complicate everything.
Yeah.
So.
Like who made that rule?
Right, who made these rules?
Who made this rule?
Yeah. I think that's
Breaking it.
right, that's the point.
Meditation rule. Who said to meditate in the morning? You can meditate at night.
Exactly.
Just form the habit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just form the habit.
Yeah.
I mean, there are reasons why you do meditate in the morning.
Right.
But I mean, if you can't do it, it doesn't mean you just don't do it at all and write it off. I think that's the thing we say. If I can't do it exactly like this, then
Yes.
I was actually just talking to a girlfriend on the way here, and we call her the outreach queen because she literally sends like 200 emails a day, like doing outreach for her business. And she's another artist and muralist. And so she has like so many people coming to her and like, how are you doing 200? We can't do 200. And like, they're kind of like questioning her or debunking her. And like, people don't realize that she'll just be like sitting there watching TV and she'll be sending out emails. She'll be eating dinner and sending out emails. She'll be, it's just like, it's just like second nature for her. It's a habit for her to do that. Right. But like, I don't send out 200 emails a day. So that's not my way of doing outreach. My way of doing outreach is like coming on the radio show or going to networking events or just being out and about, like on a plane or eating lunch somewhere. Like that's my form of outreach. And so like me and her were talking, I'm like, we want to communicate to other people. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. You just do it what works for you, right? Like I like to work out in the morning, but that may not work out for some people. Some people like to work out in the evening time. For a long time, I loved working out in the morning. And then now in the recent few years, working out in the morning would make me so sleepy. Like I would want to go to sleep after working out. So then I changed it to evening routine where I'd work out in the evening because then I would go shower up and then go to bed, So it's like also listening to your body, like what worked for you when you're in your 20s, 30s, or 5 years back or whenever may not work for you now, or that's not your schedule now. So it's also learning to be flexible and accommodating to yourself. Yeah. There's just, at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer. You're doing the best that you can with what you have.
Yeah.
But there's just no excuses.
Yeah, just be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what a lot of people, they have the guilt, the shame when they don't, they've not done, they haven't gone to the gym, they have that guilt. They haven't eaten a good breakfast, they feel guilt. We forget how to be kind to ourselves. And that is so important. If you cannot be kind to yourself, then there's no going like that. How are you going to?
You feel defeated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it so has to be. It's so important. Take care of yourself and be kind to yourself. And we are kind to everybody around the world. We are taking care of the whole family and being. But then when it comes to us, we have guilt, we have shame, we have all these negative things for ourselves and we do all the negative talk and all that. So no, we have to kind of push that aside. And first thing is be kind to yourself. That's what
Well, I think that's
always
that NLP
say.
that I was talking about. So, like, if that's a self-talk that's coming up to
Right.
yourself, then that's something that we have to address and then write it in your journal.
Yeah.
And then ask either your girlfriends or ChatGPT or whoever, hey, this is a narrative that keeps showing up in my life.
Yeah.
I need help countering that narrative. And then eventually that won't be a narrative in your life. Like, the positive affirmations will be
Yeah.
your narrative, your new narrative.
Well, unfortunately, it is time for us to wrap up.
Already?
It always goes by so
goes way
fast.
too
Yeah, way too fast.
You got to come back, girl.
Yes, I'm down. My schedule is changed, so now I'm available
All
anytime.
right.
We're going to see more of Amy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Chai Time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I think the moral of today would be to be kind to yourself, as Lyndon put it, and keep setting positive mindsets, and just keep moving forward to whatever it is that you want to manifest, and live a full life that makes you happy. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here on Chai Time 103.5 Hum FM. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.